Hey everybody, thank you so much for coming on to our Leaders Zoom. I'm so excited to hear from Courtney tonight. She is an amazing young lady and I am so excited to learn from her. We were chatting and group message just about different ideas of how we train our newbies. And you all as leaders, I think it's so important that leaders are always learning, right? So this is a night for you to grab a pen, paper, and write away. I know that Courtney is going to bring us a lot of helpful tips on how she grew her business and how she stays organized. So I'm just going to have Courtney start talking, and she's going to introduce herself, tell us a little bit about her story, where she came from and where she is now, and all that good stuff. So Courtney, take it away.
Okay, so as she said, my name's Courtney. I'm an ambassador diamond. I joined It Works last April, so April of 2015. I followed Courtney Bohr, and most of you guys know her. She's the youngest ambassador. I followed her on social media for literally a year. I tried the hair, skin, and nails. I had no interest in the business whatsoever. I followed her on social media. I even unfollowed her on Instagram, and then she followed me again. So okay, I'll refollow her. So I watched her on Instagram seriously for a whole year. I think it was like right when she started. And then I watched her all the way up until she went, I think, triple diamond. And at that time, the Ruby bonus was like $1,000. My husband, who was my fiance at the time, we'd been together for going on 9 years. And at the time, we were engaged and planning a wedding. And his dad had passed away at 42 from a brain aneurysm and bleeding on the brain. And at the time, I was going to school at Oklahoma State. And I was going to school 18 hours. I was working for a hospital 50 hours a week. And so I was spending a lot of my weekends working overtime and stuff. And when I really wanted to be spending my weekends with him, he was going through so much with his family and it was terrible. And he was living 2 hours away from me. So I watched Courtney Bohr and I was watching her post about this $1,000 Ruby bonus. And I was like, okay, I've tried the hair, skin, and nails. I could totally sell it. So I just messaged her. I commented on one of her Instagram posts and she sent me all the information and I signed up immediately. I kind of just went full force. I built my whole business using social media, and I just literally started for that extra $500 a month. Just the $1,000 Ruby bonus. I didn't see anything past that. I was like, if I can get that, that'll be so awesome. So I joined, and then it kind of just took off really, really fast. I started posting and kind of just acting like I had done it forever. I ended up signing up like 22 loyal customers my first week. And I was like, I need to be working on some distributors. And so I ended up going Ruby in my first couple of weeks. And then I went diamond in 30 days. And then I went double in 60 days, triple at 3 months, and presidential at 4 months. And then I was super overwhelmed. I was so tired. But then I ended up waiting. And 6 months later, I went ambassador at 11 months. So my life has completely changed. I quit my full-time job and I got married in October and moved 2 hours south where my husband's family is from. And then after I went ambassador, my husband got to come home from his full-time job. So now we're a full-time family and we're also expecting. So we are now due in January. So life is totally crazy.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Courtney, what were you doing before It Works? What was your job?
I was working as a patient service representative for the hospital in Stillwater where I was going to school at. So my days consisted of class, schoolwork, and work. I was working 50 hours a week, so I was working full-time plus overtime. And then I was also going to class 18 hours and then also trying to juggle planning a wedding and stuff. So life was super, super busy.
And you went presidential diamond in 4 months while you worked full-time? That is insane.
Yeah, it was crazy. I look back and I'm like, I don't even know. It was so crazy and it all happened so fast. But it was really a lot about just planning my time and just organizing my time and prioritizing like whatever I was focused on at that time, like giving it 110%. So when I was doing my homework, I was solely focused on my homework. Whenever I was working, I was at my job. But I was planning my posts, I was being super organized, and then I would devote at least like 2 or 3 power hours just where I totally worked my business. It involved a lot of like getting up earlier before I had to go to work, going to bed later, getting less sleep, but it was totally been worth it.
That's amazing. I'm amazed that you did presidential diamond in 4 months. That's insane. And I want to, like you said, you signed a lot of loyal customers at first. So I'm assuming that you grew. Okay, everybody knows that social media is a super like accelerator in network marketing. It will accelerate your business really fast. So I'm assuming you built entirely like 90% or more through social media. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've built my whole business through social media. But I did when I first started, I reached out to my family members and stuff, like family and friends that I thought would be interested in the products. And I also I kind of did a lot with Facebook too, because Facebook kind of is more of your warm market versus Instagram. You get a lot more cold market. And Facebook, I have a lot of friends and family. I was in dance growing up and playing sports. I traveled a lot. So I knew a lot of people. I had a pretty big market when I first started. So my warm market was through Facebook. So most of my little customers came from friends and family when I reached out to them, and they were a product tester for me.
Okay, so you said something really important. You said reached out. So you, I'm assuming, sent a lot of messages. And one other thing that I caught on when you were first talking was about how you signed a lot of loyal customers, and then you realized you needed to sign distributors. How did you get those distributors on board? Obviously, to get to presidential in 4 months, you signed a lot of distributors. And what did you teach them? So I'd love to spend some time there on that.
Well, a lot of my distributors, they did come from social media. At first I didn't really reach out to people about being distributors, and I didn't cold message at all. But I had a lot of interest in my posts, like I said, from my warm market. But then I was really consistent. I was posting at least 7 to 10 times a day, and I was growing my market every single day. So I was following at least probably 300 people a day on Instagram. And Facebook is a little bit different. I was adding probably 15 people to Facebook every day just to get new people seeing my posts and stuff. I followed Courtney Bohr, and I literally mimicked what my leaders were doing. So what Courtney Bohr and Ashley Murphy and them were doing, I kind of mimicked how they posted, things they said. I mean, I made it my own, but I kind of got an idea of what my Instagram needed to look like, my Facebook needed to look like. And I just was super personal with people. I told them why I joined the business, what it was going to do for me. And also when you start, I think a lot of it has to do with your confidence. Like I was posting about this Ruby bonus. I hadn't even got the Ruby bonus yet, but I was posting about I'm going to get $1,000 Ruby bonus this month. Or when I got Ruby, and then I decided, you know what, I'm going to go diamond in 30 days. I was like, you know what, this month I'm going to get a $10,000 bonus, or I'm going to get an extra $2,000 a month just by reaching this rate. It was about what I was going to do, and not about just I might get this or the company offers this. It's I'm going to accomplish this. This is what they're doing for me. And I think that's really what caught on to people's attention. And I was also focused on showing them what It Works was doing for me. So my bonuses or your fast start bonuses and stuff. Thanks to It Works, I get to fill up my gas tank. Thanks to It Works, I don't have to worry about what's being put in my shopping cart. Just the little things that the everyday person wants to be able to do was really what I was posting about. Mm-hmm. And then when I got distributors on board, it's all about your excitement. They're going to feed off of your excitement. So you have to get them going strong right from the bat and get them super excited to do this business, because that's going to be, I notice people that I don't start off super quick. If I sign 20 distributors in a month and I didn't really have the attention to focus on all of those distributors, what I needed to do, some of those that I didn't give all that attention to never really got started. So it's really about committing to them right off the bat and really getting them started and teaching them the steps to success, getting their first 4 loyal customers, and just really being there for them for the first couple of weeks.
Okay. That's amazing. That's such good information. Okay. So another thing I'd like to ask you is just with your organization, you worked full time, and I feel like a lot of people, even on this Zoom or who will listen to it, they do work full time. And so when did you work your business? When did you reach into Messenger? Obviously, I think at this point, all these diamonds and above, all these leaders on here understand that Messenger, that is where the secret is. You go into Messenger and you start building relationships, whether it's in Instagram or it's in Facebook. You've got to direct message people. You've got to send messages to people. You've got to build those relationships, show people that you care. Like you said, you shared a little bit of your story and how it's changing your life and how you would get them on board. What are those next steps? So you'd mentioned to me in our ambassador group message about your millionaire's notebook, or I love the idea. I've never thought to do something like that for the people I personally enroll, but tell me about that.
Yeah, so if they are interested, because I'm a very I'm very goal oriented, but I also have to write things down. I love writing things down, and it's kind of a memory jogger for me. So let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. I'm going to show you kind of like what I have. Okay, so I help them. I'm like, hey, I kind of just explain to them how the binder helps me. And it's kind of just something me and a couple of my leaders had started. Kristen Kirkendall is my presidential diamond. And so she's really organized too. So she was coming up with these kind of templates to help us stay organized. And so I immediately have them print off the compensation plan. And something else that I do is I send out a welcome email. So whenever I get them started, I send out a welcome email just explaining, I'm so excited for them. It explains who I am. And it has them, it's kind of a compensation plan kind of put down, like, because it's really, the compensation plan is kind of overwhelming at first. And so it kind of just explains some of the basic terminology, like what a loyal customer is, what a distributor is, steps to success, just simple things that they need to know, abbreviations and stuff for. It has like 3 or 4 training videos to get them started, like how to talk to loyal customers, how to enroll distributors, the steps to success, how to go diamond in 30 days, just a few things that are really helpful for them to start their business off with. And then I have this column that kind of explains what's going to happen every month. Their volumes are going to start over. I explain what volumes are, how they get volume. I kind of explain some of those things that newbies don't really understand whenever they first start. And then I tell them to look over that and then to print it off and to let me know when they had done that so they can put it in the front of their binder. So I kind of make the binder so it's a quick go-to because sometimes I don't always have time to go to document library. So I also have them, I'm just going to turn this around, see if you guys can see it. Can you see that? So I have, let me see if I can.
Kind of.
I'm going to make it bigger. Is it blurry?
Yeah.
Well, this one is just the, okay, so this one's just the before and after consent form that they have people sign for whenever they want to turn in their before and after photos. I have them print off that, and that way they always have it. They can make copies of it so they can send it to people just to make it easier for them, like when they do wrap parties and stuff, and to have copies of that in their binder. Then I also have a potential loyal customer log. And it looks like, sorry, I kind of have to like turn my phone on.
Do you send this to them or do you send like a PDF?
It's actually the PDF file in my team page so that everybody kind of can access it. And I just tell them where it's located at. The potential loyal customer log has like the name, I just make it in Excel, and I can even email them to you and you can put them in your deal or whatever. But it says like the name, the contact, and then the products. So they can put their name, how you contacted them, whether it was Instagram, Facebook, their phone number, and then the products they were interested in. So like hair, skin, and nails, wraps, ThermaFit, whatever they were interested in, I put that product in that column. So whenever they sign up, I highlight their name off of the list. So then whenever I go back and do follow-ups, the people that are not highlighted, I go through and follow up with every single one of those people. And that's just the way that I kind of stay organized with who I've talked to and who hasn't signed up yet. Then if they like tell me no, like, and just flat out are rude or no, I'm not interested, then I just mark their name off with a pin so that I just know that they're no longer interested. But I still keep them on my list even if they quit responding. I still follow up with them and just send them a message because you never know when they are going to actually respond. Then, what?
No, just you've talked a lot about follow-up, and I just feel like that is so important, that I feel like a lot of people probably miss just lack of organization. Is just that they're not following up with people who actually are interested in. You have to find a way that does work for you. So like whether that is if you ask a date, like, okay, well, when do you want me to touch base again? And they say, okay, next Friday. Well, if you forget to touch base, they're not going to reach out just because they're not thinking about it on their mind. And so plug it into your phone calendar or something so that you can see it. But keep going with your stuff.
No, you're fine. I even have a planner that if they give me an exact day, like I get paid on this day or this day I'll be able to order, then I put their name in my calendar. So even if that's like a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, I'll be sure to follow up with them. But these lists are the people that I follow up with on Fridays. And like I said, whenever they sign up, I highlight their name off. And that way, like people that aren't highlighted, I know that I need to follow up with. Then I also have a segment in the binder, and I keep this organized by tabs. Like, you can just get the dividers like you do for homework and stuff, the dividers with your binders at Walmart. They're like $2. But I keep that to divide my segments. And then I have a potential distributor PDF, and it just has the name and the contact. So I just write their name and how I contacted them. So I'd either do their Instagram name, their Facebook name, or their phone number. That way I know, like, what form of method I used. And then I do the same thing. I highlight their name whenever they sign up. And then the people that are not highlighted, I'm sure to keep following up with. That way I'm going to keep following up with them until their name is highlighted. Okay. That's just how I stay organized with it. That way I know, like, who I've talked to, and I'm not ever losing track, because if it's not in front of me, I will forget. And so some people go through their phone and they're like, go through and do their follow-ups. If I had to do that, I'd lose my mind.
Yeah.
And then I have, so then I made just a template of like 1 to 30, because I did and I just put the month at the top of it, and every distributor I sign that month, I put their name on there. So it's like 1 through 30. So say I signed 5 distributors, their names would be on the numbers 1 through 5. Then I go through and I highlight their name, and I do a new one every single month. And I highlight their name whenever they become Fast Start qualified. So I know who is Fast Start qualified and who's not. So I know either I need to make sure they get their 2 loyal customers, or they have 150 PBV. So I'm just kind of aware. That way I know for sure that I don't miss out on that $100 bonus, and they're not missing out on getting Fast Start qualified. And that's basically what I have in there.
Like with diamonds and above, their Fast Starts grow higher, right? I mean, they're getting residual now at this point, and that's why we want everyone to get to diamond and above, because those Fast Starts start to enlarge, and then the way that they start to like trickle down the down lines, then make a big impact. People wonder, how in the heck are these people making as much as they are when they get to, you start to see double diamond, triple diamond, presidential, and ambassador. Those Fast Starts are so important. So I love how you organize your Fast Starts. That's awesome.
No. Sorry, my husband's talking to me. He just like totally distracted me. But sorry. Okay, so then when I do, and then you have to remember that you can be responsible for your Fast Start bonuses, and it's hard when your business grows really large to keep up with everyone's Fast Start bonuses that you've enrolled and that are capped to you and stuff. But I know that keeping track of my personal Fast Starts, or my personal enrollments, helps me, so I can't control everybody's business, but that is something I can control. So that's how I try to stay organized and make sure that I'm responsible for the people that I've enrolled, so I don't miss out on those $100 and also the extra cabs on my paycheck.
That's
then
good.
The last tab in the binder is just charts. So I have ruby charts, emerald charts, diamond, all the way up to presidential diamond, so that I can help my team charts too. So when they ask me, I always have my charts on hand, because I always have my binder on me. And then I can always I'm, like I said, I'm a visual person, so having those charts on hand, when they need help charting, I can help them. Or when I'm going for a promotion, I break my brackets down into smaller charts. So like if I was going for double diamond, I would have an emerald chart and a ruby chart. Or I would have like 3 ruby charts, just to break it down into smaller pieces so I can kind of stay better organized with it. So having the charts in the back just kind of keeps me organized with all the charts.
That's so good. Somebody wanted to know if you do anything for social media training for your team.
We do a lot of team trainings together, like with Jade Hooper and all of them. A lot of our stuff's with Jade's calls and stuff, and so a lot of our diamonds and above are guest speakers. And so we have all of our team kind of come in together and do a lot of our trainings like that. And then we follow a lot of Jade's trainings too, because it kind of just goes down. But we do a lot of distributor trainings and loyal customer trainings. But we invite all of our teams, and most of those should be on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. What else? You guys ask any other questions? Feel free to ask Courtney anything else.
Ask me anything.
Yeah, and she said that she would email me that, so I can kind of like look through it, and maybe we could create something for our team. I feel like sometimes, so I love the way that Jade, trains. She's got all of her stuff out on YouTube, and so it's no secret. You can figure it out. You can do this business. I sometimes think that like people maybe get to a wall and they're like, I can't get past this. Like, or I don't know how to sign distributors, or maybe address some of those like issues when you get to a place where you feel like you're hitting a wall or a lid. What would your advice be to your person, your diamond who comes to you and says, I can't get past this, I feel like everyone knows about this business? Maybe touch on that. And then the other thing I would have you touch on is the difference between Instagram and Facebook, and how do you do the exact same post? Do you do the exact same thing, or is it different? So 2 questions. I can remind you if you forget.
No, yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
So kind of with the Instagram and Facebook, some things that I kind of keep in mind is Facebook's going to be more of your warm market. And first, they're going to recognize your wording because it was kind of developed with your friends and your acquaintances and your statuses. So people are more, with Facebook, it's more about your wording. It's more about what you're saying that they're reading first. Instagram, when you're scrolling through, you're going to stop on catchy pictures. Nice, clear photos. Something that catches your attention is when you're going to stop scrolling and you're going to read what that person has to say. So, I mean, for me, it's, you're going to be scrolling when someone has a really pretty picture. You're like, oh, and then you kind of just read the caption. So you have to remember that with Instagram, it's all about clear photos, and then also catchy stuff in your sayings and your captions too, because they are going to be reading it. But the first thing they're going to notice is the picture itself. So you don't want real blurry pictures. You don't want real gritty pictures. You want real clear, precise pictures. And you want to be telling your story. Like, people will go to my Instagram and some people probably wouldn't even know I was an It Works distributor just by looking at the pictures. And they're all business posts, but they're not all before and afters. They're not all product posts. They're not, they're business posts. They tell my story, how I use the products, different things, but they're not the glamorous done up pictures that, that are flashy and look like an advertisement magazine, because that's going to be what people steer clear from, and they're not going to want to follow you back. So that's kind of what I pay attention to, is to make sure people get to know you, not just what you're selling, but they get to know you, and also how the product is helping you, and how your team is.
Mm-hmm. How do you add people? That was one of the questions. Did you say 300 people a day?
Yes.
I hear that like Instagram, I've built like completely through Facebook. So Instagram, I've signed like a handful of people and that's it. But, or like through parties, one-on-ones, blitzing, that sort of thing. But for you with Instagram, adding 300 people, I know that platform, the amount of numbers is important. Because that's what Jade's personally told me. She's like, Rachel, you need to add like tons of people every day.
Yes. Well, some people come to me and they're like, I'm not getting any action on Instagram. And I'll look at their stuff and they have like 200 followers and they're not building their Instagram. Like, you have to get a new audience every day, or the people that are seeing your posts are going to be the same people every single day. So I would go to boutiques. I would go to really popular sites that have a lot of followers, and I usually clicked on their pictures. And then I would follow the people that like their pictures, because those mean that they're active accounts and they're participating in people's posts. They're not just ghost followers. They're not just hanging out and not doing anything. They're liking pictures, so I know they're active accounts. So I would go to people's pictures, not It Works distributors, not teammates, nothing like that. Boutiques, like clothing sites, friends of friends.
That are unique to you, right?
Yes, that are fun. Like, Courtney before one day, she was, I just need to sign up another you. And she said, you want to know what I do? And sometimes, and I was like, what? And she said, she searches people that spell their name like me. And she just goes and follows them. Like, whatever catches your attention, just like follow them. Hashtag, if you're into sports, if you're into running, if you're into dogs, cats, if you're a stay-at-home mom, like anything like that, search those hashtags, and follow the accounts, like the people that like their pictures and stuff and commenting on those pictures, because those are active accounts. So you're going to get more feedback with people following you. And it's not just going to be a bunch of ghost accounts, because you want people interacting on your posts. So the more people interacting on your posts and liking and commenting, the more engagement you're going to get from other people as well.
That's so good. And one tip too that I learned as well is find something local that you know. Like hashtags that like for me, hashtag Horsetooth Reservoir. Somebody that's local to me would be hashtagging that. So I could go to that hashtag, I could find all these people, and then I could go to, like what you said, pick a picture, click on the likes and then take all those people and follow them. And then now people that are not following you back, you unfollow. Is that correct?
Yes, and I use it's just called Followers. It's just an app. It usually lets me unfollow anywhere from 60 to 150 people an hour. So I usually unfollow people on Sundays. I usually do all my following during the week, and then I unfollow people on Sundays. Something else I've been doing is I wouldn't, like on Instagram, I was weird at first, and I wouldn't check into places because I didn't want people to know my location. Like, I thought it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But now I don't do it at my home, but like when I'm out to eat or I'm shopping or anything like that and I post, I make sure and I tag in my location because anybody that puts in that location can search everyone that's been there. So like if I put in, like the other day we went and ate at a really popular Italian place in the city, and it was the Cheesecake Factory, and I just put my location. I can click on that location and I can pull up every single person that's eaten there lately. You know, and so it's just kind of cool for people to find you and just see your account just because you ate at that place. That's so check awesome. Into those places so that people see you there. Something that I interact on Instagram is I'll be following people, and I really try not to just cold message and spam people because I don't really like that. We kind of call it online blitzing because I kind of look at it like you're not going to, when you're blitzing people, do you wait for them to come up to you to hand them a blitz card? No, we blitz people and we hand them blitz cards. And if we waited for people to come to us all the time, we wouldn't hand out any. So you have to offer the business and you have to offer the products. You're going to get told no, and that's totally fine. But a way that I do that to kind of not be spammy like that is if I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see an account that I like or somebody that I think would be super good at this business or that might like the products, I turn on their post notifications on my phone. So every time they post, it notifies me, and then I'll just like slide it, and then it'll go right to their page, and I'll immediately like it or comment on it. So I'll interact with them for like a week or so, and then I'll be like, hey girl, I was just going to let you know that, I follow your account, and I think you'd be so awesome at what I do. And then that kind of opens it up like, oh, well, what do you do? So it kind of just opens it up where like I've been watching them. I think they'd be so awesome. But they see me liking and they've seen me interacting on their posts, so it's not just like a complete stranger.
Yeah, that's good. And you don't wait too long, it sounds like. You give it just a little bit of a window of time to engage so they know who you are. Then when you message them, it's done. I feel like, too, you have to get over your fears of messaging people, even if they're in Facebook. If you've got 100 people on your list, you need to go through every single one of those people. And if they are on your list and you're like, I want them in my business, then you don't stop talking to them. You keep engaging, keep messaging, keep following up with them, because the power is always in the follow-up, right?
Yes. And then as for kind of like what you said to ask me about like if someone kind of felt stuck, because I think at some point in their business, everyone kind of feels stuck. Even my like enrollments have went down from when I first started. I went from enrolling like 20 to 25 distributors a month to now I enroll like 6 to 8, but I find it not as overwhelming. Like I have 6 to 8 distributors. I find that so much easier to train them and get them going strong than I did when I was I can be a mass enroller, but you know how many of those people quit because I couldn't offer them that attention. I think like one of the biggest things I do when that happens is I kind of ask them why they feel that way. Well, what are you doing different now that you were doing then? Have you lost your excitement? Who are you following? Who are you watching? Because I think when I first started, some people asked me kind of what was something that I thought that helped with building my business so fast. And I don't mean this in a bad way. I love our leaders. Our leaders are amazing. I didn't know anybody. I literally knew Courtney Bohr, Ashley Mirth, and Jade Hooper as my direct uplines. Those are the only people I really knew to follow in the business. My blinders were on. I was just doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing to build my business. I wasn't comparing. I didn't know Jocelyn Yates. I didn't know a Susan Wade. I didn't know Rachel. I didn't know anybody. So I didn't have anybody to compare my business to. So sometimes I feel like we get in that concept of, wow, she's enrolling 10 distributors and I haven't enrolled one all month. What am I doing wrong? Or she's enrolled 3 loyal customers today. I haven't talked to anybody in a week. It's just like little things because you're constantly comparing yourself, and you have to stop because this business is very different for everybody, and everybody has that sense of trying to relate to people and comparing their journeys and stuff, and you can't do that. So I think something that really helped me then was putting my blinders on and just doing what I was doing to build my own business. And I wasn't worried about anybody else's business. I wasn't worried about how fast they were promoting or how successful they were or what number they were. I was just focused on increasing my paychecks and helping my team. So you just have to get back to the basics of your business and just really focus on helping your team and helping them get to where they want to be, because that's ultimately why you joined this business, was for yourself and for your family and for your teammates, and not just to compare yourself to all these leaders, because it will happen for you. It's just going to happen at different times.
That is such good advice. I feel like that's so golden right there, like what you said. And even like for us, I feel like if we start like trying to do what other people are doing and not keeping our blinders on, then you're right. We fall into some sort of merry-go-round of not signing distributors, not signing customers, and we're just like spinning our wheels doing nothing and wasting our time. And I heard a Periscope that Carrie said the other day, and I love this because this is very true for you. And I bet it's true for you. You can confirm this because I've got a question that somebody asked me. But like for me, 80% of my time is recruiting. I spend 80% of my time talking to people, customers, potential distributors, following up with them, talking to them in Messenger. I spend a lot of time there. And then I spend a little bit of time talking with my team and that sort of thing and showing them kind of like, okay, this is what you need to be doing. But if I don't spend 80% of my time working to seal deals and like follow up with people, then I'll go nowhere. Like what could you add to that? And I'll just ask this question because I think this kind of goes along with it. Do you have a daily rhythm with your business, daily tasks for yourself or your team?
So something that I really try to stay away from is tasks, because I kind of feel, okay, so something that I kind of relate to that, because, you know, when I went ambassador, it was almost like you kind of get that ambassador funk. It's kind of like, okay, I kind of forget the basics. So it's like, what did I do to get here? You know, like I built so fast. Now what am I doing? And you kind of eventually, even as a leader, even as a diamond, a double diamond, a triple diamond, you kind of get into a micromanage mode. I was spending so much time on my team page. I was spending so much time scrolling through other leaders' pages, figuring out what I should post. It's like I forgot what I was doing. I forgot what I did to make myself successful. And I was overthinking it, and I was questioning myself kind of, and I had no reason to. It's just kind of one of those things you kind of get into a funk. And I realized how much time I was spending scrolling through Facebook, scrolling through Instagram with no intention. I was not building my business. I was literally mindless scrolling through these social media when I'm like, I just spent an hour scrolling through Facebook when I could have probably talked to 20 people just then. You know, so it's kind of like you lose the people. You have to remember that every time that you spend watching TV for 2 hours, watching your favorite shows and stuff. And I love breaks. I believe in giving yourself a break. But all that time you're spending with mindless things, you're missing out talking to people. You're missing out on those opportunities to build your business. I got into that micromanagement mode. I was spending so much time in my team page trying to lead and tell them what to do, tell them what to say, that they almost got reliant on that they didn't know how to build their own business. So now I really try to focus on working my own business and leading from the front and work on my own enrollments. And Jade said something, you know, everyone feels like they're at a standstill because their team is quitting. Their distributors are quitting. They're not enrolling. You enroll. You work. You know, you work, and if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, your team will follow suit. But if you're not posting and you're not doing the things that they need to be doing, then they're not going to do it either. So spend less time mindless scrolling through pages and mindless scrolling through Facebook and Instagram, and work your business with intention, because when you're reaching out to people and you're talking to them and you're having meaningful conversations with people, your business will completely grow. But you can't spend hours mindlessly scrolling and reading all this stuff that has nothing to do with your business, because you're missing out on tons of opportunities and minutes to talk to potential distributors and potential customers.
That is, can I get an amen? Hallelujah. That's so good. I'll tell you, for me, I didn't even start a team page until I hit Presidential Diamond. And I hit Presidential Diamond 18 months into the business. And then I went ambassador at 24 months.
It's
So
24.
for 18 months, I grew my entire business without ever having a page to have to run. And I guarantee you that was one of my secrets to success, was that I only focused on the people who wanted it with me. So I just ran with my runners. I didn't focus on every single person in my downline. I focused with the people who were messaging me and being like, Rachel, I want to do this. My goal is diamond. I'm like, awesome. You're my person, like, let's do this together.
Well, were you at conference?
Yeah.
So did you hear my heifer story? I don't think I'll ever live this heifer story down.
You know what? I actually think that we didn't hear each other speak because you spoke right before me. Were you before Conway? I feel like, I actually spoke with Kyler right after you.
I will forever be known as the heifer girl. And if you see anybody that on my post and they hashtag heifer, this is why. So. And it's kind of like my aha moment. It was something that really triggered and kind of helped my business. And it was right after I went presidential. I grew up on a farm. I graduated 30 people. So I'm from a really, really small town. And I grew up on a farm raising cattle and horses and showing sheep and all this stuff. So I was at home visiting my parents on weekend. And my dad had a cow that they had invested in and stuff. We have 60, 70 head of cows. And he was all upset because this young heifer had died. And it was young, and he was mad. He was upset because it was going to breed a lot. It was going to produce a lot of money, had so much potential, going on and on about this heifer that died. And I sat there and listened for 30 minutes. And finally I just looked at him, and I was like, just get another one. And he was like, just get another one. And I said, yes. I was like, you're spending so much time talking about this heifer that died and was going to produce so many more heifers and make you money when you have over 60 head of cows that are going to produce you money next season. So why are you so worried about it? Just get another one. And then I sat there and I looked at my mom and I was like, well, I just need to apply that to my own business. I was like, I am seriously focused on all these distributors that are quitting, that don't want this. And I'm like, why are they quitting? What did I do wrong as a leader? What could I do to push them? And I'm like, I just need to keep it rolling. I need to get a new heifer, but it's I need to get a new distributor. I need to get new blood, because the people that want this, the cream is going to rise to the top, and you have to stop focusing on the people that are quitting, because you're going to have tons of people that quit. And when you focus your attention on those runners, your business becomes so much more positive, because everything my dad was saying that night was negative. There was not a positive solution to what he was talking about. So I was just like, get another one. And that's kind of when it hit me that I'm being negative too. And so you just have to bring in new blood. Keep enrolling distributors and the people that want this. Your business will grow. But stop focusing on the people that are quitting, because that negative energy will do nothing for your business.
That is the truth. That is so golden. I feel like if anything was an aha moment for anyone, I feel like people are like, what's their secret? What are they doing? How are they making so much money? I don't understand. How did they get to ambassador? How did they get to presidential? How did they get to triple diamond? How did they get to diamond? You know what I mean? And I feel like exactly what you said. If you will and keep enrolling distributors, your average is now 6 to 8 people a month. My average is 3 to 5 people a month. If I always will stick to that, then the cream, like you said, will rise to the top. I think the answer here, for anybody who's been seasoned, is you don't stop enrolling. You always get a new one. Like you said,
yes.
A new one. I love that. Well, it's almost 8:45 and in mountain time. I don't want to keep time anymore. But I feel like you just gave so much golden advice to everyone on our team. And this is my first time getting to really talk to you, and I know
I feel like I know you, but I've never talked to you. I'm just it's one of those things, you see their Facebook econ and you talk to them in chats and stuff, but I'm like, yeah, I know her, but I know her whole life story, but I've never met her before. So it's one of those things. So it's good talking to you guys.
It was so good talking to you. I think that everyone's just over here in the chat messenger. They're like, oh my gosh, this just answered everything.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah, you just gave so much of your time and yourself tonight. And you didn't even hold anything back. And I just want you to know, on behalf of all of my team, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I hope you guys have a good night.
I'll see you at Green Carpet.
I will see you there.
Will you be
pregnant and all?
beach? Is that right?
Yeah, that's when I'll be giving my ambassador speech.
I'm excited to hear it. All right. Well, thank you so much, Courtney. I hope you have a great night tonight.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
All right. Take care. Bye.